Welcome back. In this video I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the dawn chart in astrology and the importance of it and how it can actually set you up for the day. So when you start to learn astrology, there's an awful lot of information that comes along at once, and there are many things to keep your eye on. You could do the moon work, you could do the eclipse work, you could do all of that type of thing. You can follow the planets, look at the chart, what's happening now, do the noon chart or something like that. But what I want to talk to you about now is actually the dawn chart. So the dawn chart will be slightly different for everybody on a day because it's the moment the sun rises over the eastern horizon. So when dawn breaks, literally when dawn breaks, you will have a dawn chart in your location. So I'm here in Vancouver and I'm going to show you an example of a dawn chart for myself for this day, and then I'm also going to show you one for Sydney, Australia, and you can see that although the chart is very similar, it is slightly different. So each dawn chart will affect you where you're living. It's like the transit chart for the day. Other astrologers might like to use the noon chart or the midnight chart or something like that. Personally, I love using the dawn chart, and there's a couple of reasons for it. The first reason is that I'm very solar oriented. I am a Leo. I do like the sun, and of course it's the life giver of the zodiac and life on earth, let's face it. And as dawn breaks, the potentials of the day will come through the chart. So typically as the sun conjoins the ascendant, crosses into the 12th house, that is when you actually cast the dawn chart for. Now there are some features of the dawn chart, and of course if the sun's in Virgo, it's going to be in Virgo for everybody, but I like to look at what is known as the Oriental Planet. It's also known as the planet of Oriental appearance. It's the planet that has risen prior to the sun on any given day. So I'm going to give you an example of the dawn chart for today. Today is September 3rd, 2020, and as the sun crosses the ascendant, you can see that the planet that rose ahead of the sun is actually Venus. So for today, for everyone on the earth, Venus will be the Oriental planet, so the planet of Oriental appearance. And it's a super interesting planet. I've done a massive amount of research into the Oriental planet and actually wrote a book about it, but at the moment let's just keep it simple. What we are considering is, what does the dawn chart show you, and with the Oriental planet being Venus in that particular position. So in the particular day that I've chosen, we've seen that the sun is rising at 11 degrees 30 minutes Virgo, and then Venus is actually at 27:02. I'm looking to the side to my iPad here where I've got Astrological, but I'll show you the images. So the chart that we're considering has the sun at the ascendant, and it's showing the full potential. This is known as the dawn chart. And every morning as an astrologer, this is the chart I look at to say, how is the day going to go? Because I'm not even considering how's the day going to go for me specifically. I'm looking at how is this day going to go for everybody around me, for everyone basically who lives in Vancouver. What are the potentials of the day? And they're shown through the nature of this dawn chart. And you can see that we've got the sun is there at 11. So there are a couple of major aspect patterns within the dawn chart. There's a couple of mystic rectangles. There's a couple of Thor's hammers. I am doing a series on aspects, and I will have it available on this link when it's up. There'll be a link up there once that video is out, so you know more about those. But that's just by the by. But what we have here is quite a well engaged chart. All of the planets have aspects to them. I'm not displaying the nodes at the moment. I'm not displaying the part of fortune or anything, or the vertex or anything like that. I'm keeping it simple. There's an awful lot of energy being driven to the sun through those two Thor's hammers, which is kind of interesting. And so the sun is in Virgo. We know then that Mercury will dispose the sun. Mercury rules Virgo. Mercury's in Virgo by itself, so it's in its own dignity, so it could be the final dispositor, but as you may or may not know, Mars is in its own sign as well of Aries, so Mars is strong, equally as strong as Mercury is today. What I like about the dawn chart is that it's almost like a horary chart where you can say, how will this day go? Let's have a look at the chart that was posed at the question at the moment, and the question is posed at dawn, so it's a dawn horary chart almost. And from this we can say, well, how will this day go? So we've got some interesting planets there. We've got the moon and Neptune in the 7th house, and we can assume there that partnerships and so on may take an emotional route and have a lot of intuition brought to bear in those areas. We do have the stellium of Jupiter, Pluto and Saturn in the 5th house, nicely placed there for some creativity, getting things done. Its fifth house, as you know, is the house of creation, procreation and recreation. So all of those energies will be stimulated as well through the nature of how will this day go. Should be a creative day. With Mercury in the first house, we can assume that there's going to be a lot of talking. I mean, who doesn't talk? But more information coming your way, maybe even more information than you even want to know about, because it stimulated this chart stimulates for everybody. So lots of information, lots of bits, things to take note of, pay attention to, coming towards you, phone numbers, people's names. You're going to want to be paying attention to things like that to make the most of this day. We have the Sun, Thor's hammer of Mars, square Saturn, both sesquiquadrate to the Sun is bringing quite serious energy to that Sun. So we would assume that individuals themselves are going to take things seriously today. It's not necessarily going to be a frivolous day at all. It's probably a day when a lot can be achieved, where a lot can be got done. You bring in a combination of the sprint and the marathon, the sprint being the Mars, the marathon being Saturn, focused and channeled towards the Sun, which is of course individual identity. In whatever you're trying to achieve today, you can tap into that energy of that Sun and work both your sprint and your marathon to whatever project you've got going. So that's one lightweight way of looking at the dawn chart. I do like it. I find it's a way to keep track of how the planets are moving, because I'm not watching it every 5 minutes, but I do like to look at the dawn chart most mornings when I'm having my first cup of tea in bed, and I will consider, what's happening? How can I push? Should I do this or should I do that type of work today? Because I actually do have a choice. I can do the technical side, I can do the writing side, or honestly I could go out and go and sit at the beach for a bit. So you want to work with the energy of the zodiac at the time and the combination that the planets are making, the patterns within the chart, and this is one way of doing it. It's one way of starting to understand how astrology is working. It may not be specific to you, but it's a general what's happening up there chart that can be looked at every single day. So let me know in the comments if you do look at the dawn chart, or if you consider it at all, or even if you have any interest in the Oriental Planet. Please share this video with anyone who may be interested. I'm Alison Price. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.